Joining us now on Al Jazeera is Sam Rose, who's the Director of Planning for UNRWA, that's the United Nations Agency for Palestinian Refugees. Sam is joining us from Nuseirat in central Gaza. Thank you for being with us. So a new evacuation order for eastern Khan Younis. What has that meant for the people who'd sought refuge there?
It means yet another day, week, chapter of misery. For these hundreds of thousands of people, we estimate 250,000 people are in the area that's under the evacuation order. Most of them had been displaced several times. Some had only just returned from Rafah, where they were forcibly displaced a few weeks ago, and then to receive these evacuation orders instructing them to leave immediately, is just harrowing, horrific, and incredibly difficult to get your head around.
When they leave the area, Sam, where are they heading to?
They're told to go west, to Mawasi, the beachy, sandy area on the coast, but it's already so overcrowded, not any room to pitch a tent. There's no water there. There's no infrastructure, no services. They're forced to go there. But look, many have spent the night in vehicles, sleeping on the donkey carts, things like that. They go without knowing precisely where it is they're going to end up, because this evacuation order was told people to leave urgently. And people know how this goes. They know that essentially if they don't get out within 24 hours, then worse is to come.
In terms of what they find when they reach places like Al-Mawasi, you talk about overcrowding, of course, which, we've seen. In terms of aid, what are they getting? What are you as UNRWA able to provide at the moment for these people who are displaced yet again, and how much of it is available?
There's very little available within our stores right now, given the problems that we've been having at Kerem Shalom and Rafah to bring aid in. We do have some supplies. What we tend to do, and this is exactly what we were doing 24 hours ago in Jazeera in Gaza City, where populations were faced with a similar evacuation order. In the first instance, we provide water. We follow that with food parcels, with flour, and with shelter supplies and basic hygiene items for young children, for women, for the elderly. But right now, it's really just about getting a handle on the situation, which is rapidly evolving. We are seeing massive movements of people, many of them still on the road. We've got tracers on the road to monitor that movement, to assess and make judgment calls as to where people are going to go, and then we orient our aid operations accordingly. UNRWA is the largest operator, but we work in close coordination, consultation with a number of international and local partners, and we're really throwing the entire efforts of the humanitarian community at this right now.
Yeah, Sam, you say you try to monitor where all these people, the displaced people, are going and try to reach them to help them. There is one place where it's been very difficult to get information from, and that's Sujeya, the Sujeya district of Gaza City. There's been intense fighting there between Israeli forces and some of the armed groups that are still there. And we're hearing that there are civilians who are trapped inside Sujeya who are not able to get out. What more can you tell us about the situation there, and whether or not you've been able to access that district of Gaza City?
Yeah, this is a situation that developed on Thursday when, again, evacuation orders were issued. 85,000 people, we're estimating, have moved, have been displaced. Over 10,000 sheltered in UNRWA schools in Gaza City, others in government buildings in Gaza City in open areas. The expectation when it started was that this would be over quite quickly, but it's carrying on. We're now, I believe, in day 6, as is always the case in these operations. There are people who stay behind, people who are either unable to move because they're elderly, they're sick, they're infirm, or just unwilling to because they've quite frankly had enough and they'd rather die where they are than face another round of uncertainty. We've not been able to access those people stuck inside the area just yet. It's a very heavy, very active conflict zone. What we are doing, again, in partnership with other agencies, is providing the basic supplies to give people a kind of modicum of life in terms of water, in terms of blankets, food supplies, and minimum shelter.
Sam, thank you very much for talking to us about the situation in Gaza. Sam Rose, Director of Planning for UNRWA, the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, live there from Nuseirat in central Gaza.